There's a point in the week where you can tell things are a bit off. Don't get it twisted. You haven't completely fallen off or anything, but you can just sense it slightly. You missed a couple workouts, your sleep's been a bit weird. Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. By the end of the week, you're saying the classic, "Oh, I'll sort myself out." Look, me, I know that feeling really well. I used to do the same thing all the time. I'd have one bad week, and straight away it was that whole comeback mindset. And to be honest, in the moment, that plan kind of feels perfect. Some of you can vouch for that. You start feeling a little bit more in control. But look, bro, looking back, the bad week wasn't the thing that was messing me up. In fact, it was me taking a rough few days and turning into this whole thing that wasn't really that deep. And that's what kept this whole cycle going. So now when I feel myself slip a bit or fall off the plan a bit, I do something much simpler. I reset. Specifically, I like to call it the 3-2-1 reset. I know, genius. Let me explain. 3 things I do that night, 2 things I don't do, and basically 1 thing that sets me up for an easier tomorrow. Simple as that. Let me zoom into the 3 first. The first thing I do is sort my body out a bit. And I really do mean the bit. For example, I'll have some water or have a proper meal or even go for a short walk. That's all. Because when people are feeling off, they usually make the night worse. They scroll more, they sit around doing nothing, they feel lazy. And then they end up staying later, ruining tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. It's almost like a domino effect, at least for me. Look, at this point, I'm just trying to calm everything down a little. Nothing mad. And that matters more than most people like to admit. Stopping yourself from going back further is genuinely the strongest thing that you can do sometimes. Now, the second thing I do in that 3 part is I sort one visible thing out. So the room, the floor, the desk, just one bit of space that I know I'm going to see tomorrow. Because when everything around you looks messy, it manifests itself into your life, if that makes any sense at all. But basically, your environment affects you more than you even realize. It kind of tells you, sack off the day, this is my time to be a bum whenever you enter your room, for example. And once you start feeling like that, your standards drop even more. It sounds small, but do it and let me know. And then the third thing I do is making tomorrow easier to start, I guess. The biggest mistake I see people do when they mess up their whole week, including myself, is we all make a plan, a massive plan that we simply can't follow. And look, on Sunday night, that plan sounds mind blowing. It sounds amazing. At night, you fully believe it. But we all know tomorrow morning is a different story, isn't it? Tomorrow morning, you're tired. So instead of building this perfect plan now, I made the first decision a lot easier. For example, I lay my clothes out, hang on the door, or I write the first task to do, anything. All we need to do is make tomorrow feel easier to win. Because when life gets heavy, the answer definitely isn't more pressure. It's finding a place where you have less friction. Okay, so that's the 3 part, and I hope that made a little bit of sense. Sort your body out, sort one visible space out, and make tomorrow easier to start. Now let's go to the 2 in the equation. This is simply 2 things I don't do. And this is also where people usually mess it all up. First, I don't make some dramatic comeback plan. That's the trap. The worse the week was, the more intense the plan becomes. Fix up. That isn't discipline. What it is you being annoyed at yourself and trying to gain back control of your life. And I can tell you that almost never lasts. That's why I don't do that whole everything changes tomorrow thing anymore. And second, I don't punish myself anymore. I don't try to suffer and grit my way back onto track. Like, please don't starve yourself when you eat bad, or try and make up for workouts because you couldn't be asked to go early in the week. Because that is what keeps the whole loop going. You feel bad, so you go extreme. You go extreme, so it becomes harder to keep it all up. You slip once again because it's so hard, and you feel even worse when you're back to position 1. And don't underestimate it, because some people can get stuck there for months or years. I bet you even know someone like that. So no, trying to force yourself to become better, that doesn't work either. And last but definitely not least, the 1. Before bed, I choose 1 win for the next day. Something small enough so I actually do it. A 10-minute walk, 20 minutes of focus work when I wake up, or even no phone for the first hour of the day. It doesn't have to be anything impressive, anything big. It just needs to happen. Because 1 real win when you wake up does tons more than 10 perfect plans the night before. Now, bro, you stop trying to prove you've changed and you start building more trust with yourself. This is a concept I talk about a lot in my videos, but building trust with yourself is the key to self-improvement. You know, when you fall off, the bad part isn't usually the missed workouts, the fucked up diet, or the messy room. It's more the feeling underneath it all, that annoying feeling or the disappointment that you have in yourself. So hear me out properly when I say this. A bad week does not mean you're failing, bro. A rough few days does not mean you messed up either. You just need to get up, get back in the game, and stop being a pussy about it all. I'm just being honest. Now, do everything in this video to a T. I mean, if you're extra serious, rewind this video back to the start and grab a pen, grab a notepad, and start making notes to get your life in order now. That's how you stop a bad week from turning into a bad month. Sometimes to get your life together, it's about making one single promise that you keep. That's it. It's about starting from square one and building yourself up to the man or woman you want to be, square by square, hour by hour, day by day. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't let me beat you to the top.